Oh, hell no! Excuse me? Alright, ReZero Season 4, Episode 7. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and of course Patreon full reactions over there. Surely nothing bad will happen because nothing ever bad happens in that ReZero greatness. And they really put a lot of detail into her pelvic bone area, huh? Kinds of things only a true anime connoisseur would notice. Between the front and the back here, between both characters, we got this and we got this. There's just a lot. There's a lot happening with this perspective is all I'm saying. In a way, doesn't it kind of look like Subaru's with his two exes, his current squeeze, and then you have his two children? Oh shit. His baby mamas have come to fight for child support. Subaru, listen, as an explorer of holes, a time and a place. You do you, boss. Don't say I didn't warn you. Ah, yes, the cavern of darkness. Surely no aids are gonna be in here. Yeah-oh. So about this, your girl been a little comatose. It's a whole thing. He didn't hesitate either. You can't say he's a fucking idiot. He immediately was like, listen, dollface. If it wasn't for the development we had in the previous episode, he might also be pointing that sword towards Subaru. You know, at this point, the only way to fucking de-escalate this situation is to be like, I'm an isekai boy, because there's gonna be bloodshed otherwise. That's why he's our waifu right there. Amelia, step aside. Julius in a miniskirt coming soon. Bro, did you just go to fight the guy by yourself? What the fuck did he do? What'd this dumb son of a bitch do? They took my boy's memories? You know, I think I'm just gonna leave it on the ending here. That represents what just happened. Never in all my years watching ReZero have I felt so disrespected. And I know recency bias might be playing a factor, but I think we could argue this is objectively the worst thing that could have happened. It is one thing when characters forget Subaru or forget interactions. It is another when the man in question forgets everything. And on one hand, it's kind of funny, because sometimes you gotta laugh in the face of horror that he's like, damn, pretty mamas, I'm an isekai character? Bro straight up just like, oh, hell yeah, mystical steed, little sis I can save. I don't know who that blue hair bitch is, but I don't think anyone does. And a hot silver elf? Fuck yeah. Isekai, baby. Because when Subaru walked up those goddamn stairs, I thought surely either he would go and die and, you know, we were going to loop in a bad situation, someone was going to forget Subaru. There's a lot of things. But him doing the same thing he did when he first woke up in that alleyway, I think it was the alleyway. He wakes up in the street and then he ends up in the alleyway. But anyway, the same thing he does in Season 1, Episode 1. He pretty much is like, oh, hell yeah, I'm isekai. Unless this is the greatest misdirect of all time, and he's going to get his memories back sooner than later, or maybe it's just temporary amnesia. I'm quite concerned about this. Because up to this point, because this is what's brilliant too, right? We've seen characters wake up from these slaps before. Julius literally does, and it's like, okay, you know, it's bad, but I'm sure they're going to reveal something bad. But if they actually do this, if they actually go the route of fucking Rem waking up and be like, damn, that sucks, but hey, at least my boy's... What do you mean my boy don't remember me? That is diabolical. It's ruined. Subaru's ruined. Like, I don't even think Subaru's ever comprehended the fact of him losing his memory. Because, I mean, you can make an argument, well, it's Subaru, he'll make similar connections just because of how he is. But you don't lose your memories. Now, on a different situation, I thought this was quite interesting. Julius overhearing old Foxy Donna and Subaru talking about bodies, and, you know, it just very much seemed like she was an imposter, right? And I will say, to her credit, she really did try to pull this off. She's like immediately went into survival mode, but he's not an idiot, right? And I think what's so interesting about this whole scene is that had literally not the last episode happened, this entire scene would have played out differently. It's probably likely that his sword would have been pointed on Subaru and not simply her. Most likely, we can make an argument he probably would have still walked off with her. Sus, concerned, a little betrayed, but probably not striking her down, though there is an argument to be made he would have. But the way he immediately squared up, the way he immediately said, I don't trust this, the only reason that sword didn't get pointed on Subaru is because of that development last week. He actually trusts Subaru. Yeah, he's hurt that Subaru didn't come to him and explain this before, but at the same time, he's not thinking, fuck this fake knight, fuck this guy for screwing me over. He's hurt. And, you know, you got to put yourself in his shoes. How does someone who barely knows her be able to spot that she's an imposter, where I, the most loyal knight, already feeling like I'm a failure of a knight, once again highlights my issues, right? Like, I'm not as good as I need to be. Their bond really came in clutch here, and I think that's what makes it sting all the more. Like, I know Amelia is going to be fucking heartbroken, I know everyone will be, but it's really his number one waifu, Julius, who was about to get into a miniskirt for Subaru, that is going to suffer the most from this man losing his memories. But I really liked this scene. I thought it was quite exceptionally well done. I'm not sure exactly why we lost our memories. Maybe it will, Shala will be involved in it, but she did have me a little spooked, and I've been relatively trusting her recently. I know she could kill us very easily, but given how things have went, I haven't really been super sus. The moment when she kind of was like, hey, you know, I waited for you for centuries. It doesn't matter if it takes a century for you to leave. Like, that's what's going on in my head when she's talking about this shit, right? Sub's out here being like, oh shit, man, this harem's getting a little intense for me. But it was kind of cute because they have like this big old cookout, they have a nice dinner together, and it's funny because my vibe really was this was the Last Supper. I was like, you know, when's the last time we've properly had characters sit around a table and have a big fat meal? And I know it's probably wrong, and I'm sure we've seen others, but I'm thinking of season 2 when Rem lost her memories. Wasn't there a campfire scene when people were eating just before bad shit happened? Now, there probably has been more dinner scenes than just that, but that's the only one that comes to my mind, so I'm just gonna assume that's what happens because that's fucking funny that we essentially, we end up with Sub's Last Supper as everyone fucking remembers him, but he doesn't remember them. I'm really hoping it's just a case of if we defeat Reed, we get the memories back. Because I'm trying to think, right, if we actually go the route Subaru doesn't remember anyone, and that's like our life for multiple seasons, I don't know how I'll feel. I will go through every stage of grief. And I fear the anger stage when it hits. Objectively, the most shocking episode of ReZero in a hot minute. Like, even thinking to those big deaths and the gore, it's ReZero. You expect it. I'm telling you, give me the rabbits any day of the week. Let me know your thoughts down below. What did you think of this episode? I'm sure sorcerers have been anticipating it. Pause down below, drop a like, share your support, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course, you know what, Patreon, full live reactions over there, and other exclusives, because I'd love to give those video shout outs to my patrons, because they make it all possible over here on YouTube. Alright, so today we got Ashura, Thrilled Axis, SW Me, Ginger King, Nano Dog, Durhosh, Franklin Greenway, Hikari Lounge, Clasher, and we also have Sologaki, so I appreciate the support. Please take care. You know, have a good one.